In this lesson, we're going to solve quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. When your quadratic equation is specifically in this form, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, you can solve for x using your formula right here. And again, this is called the quadratic formula. So you may or may not have heard the song, but I feel like everyone has a different version of it. But I'll go ahead and take one for the team and sing it for us. So it goes, x equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So anyways, I've also heard people tell like funny stories, but I don't know them, so I guess I shouldn't have even brought that up. But anyways, so here's your quadratic formula. It helps to have it memorized, but you know, with online learning right now, you always have things open book. So here it is for your reference. So let's go ahead and solve some of these problems. So this first problem says, solve the equation, and we're going to use the quadratic formula. In order to do so, we want this equation equal to 0. So we need to move this 6x and this negative 4x to the left side. So now that we have the equation in the right form, okay, so I set up an ABC chart. A is the number in front of the x squared term, B is the number in front of the x term, and C is the constant. So now we have ABC, now we can plug them into the quadratic formula. Okay, I plugged everything into the quadratic formula. I used parentheses anywhere we needed to plug a value in for A, B, or C. So we have negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. At this point, we want to simplify using Pemdas. So out here, we're going to multiply to get 6 plus or minus the square root of, this makes negative 6 squared or 36, and negative 4 times 1 times positive 4 makes negative 16. The entire expression is going to be over 2. So when you simplify, you get 6 plus or minus the square root of 20 over 2. At this point, 20 breaks down to 4 times 5. The square root of 4 is 2. The 5 is still underneath the radical, and it's all over 2. Last step, if you'll notice, the 6 and the 2 root 5, they both have a 2 in common that you can factor to the front. So I factored the 2 out, and you get 2 and then 3 plus or minus root 5, so that these 2's can cancel. So our final answer is going to be 3 plus or minus root 5. And again, that represents two answers, 3 plus root 5 and 3 minus root 5. Okay, this next example says x squared plus 3x equals 2. In order to use the quadratic formula, we want to move this 2 to the left side, setting this equation equal to 0. So we get x squared plus 3x minus 2 equals 0. I made an ABC chart. A is in front of the x squared, B is in front of the x, and C is the constant. So we get 1, 3, and negative 2. Let's go ahead and plug these into the quadratic formula. I made sure to put parentheses anywhere I was plugging in a number for A, B, or C, and then now we're going to simplify. So be careful right here, you have negative 4 times 1 times negative 2, which makes positive 8. And when you simplify, you get negative 3 plus or minus root 17 all over 2. And I just wanted to point out, you could also write the answer as negative 3 over 2 plus or minus root 17 over 2. Either answer is right, so just make sure you're aware. The answer could be in either format. For this next problem, we want it equal to 0, so we're going to move this 2x and negative 9x to the left side. So to move the 2x, we're going to subtract 2x over, and we're going to add 9 over. So you end up getting 4x squared minus 12x plus 9 equals 0. For our ABC chart, A is 4, B is negative 12, and C is positive 9. And let's go ahead and plug everything into the quadratic formula. Okay, I have everything plugged in, so let's go ahead and simplify. Over here we have negative 4 times 9 is negative 144. So here we have 12 plus or minus the square root of 144, take away 144, all over 8. These are going to cancel, making the square root of 0. The square root of 0 is just 0. So this part of the problem, the plus or minus part, is gone, and you're just left with 12 over 8. When you reduce 12 and 8 by 4, our final answer just becomes 3/2. So again, if you ever have what's underneath the square root is called a discriminant. If it ever cancels out and you get 0, that's the plus or minus part of the problem, and it leaves you with just one answer. All right, thanks for watching, guys.